You probably know Dark-type Pokemon for the edgelord, hardcore kind of thing that they got going on. But did you know that Dark-types also have some of the most magnificent, beautiful shinies in the world of Pokemon? Nah, I bet you didn't, but you just might soon, because today I'm gonna try to beat Pokemon Violet using only shiny Dark-type Pokemon. And as if spending hours upon hours shiny hunting for a single run wasn't enough, I'm also gonna be adding a bunch of other rules on top just to make this that much more difficult. Can I become the ultimate Pokemon master using only shiny dark Pokemon? Well, let's find out. So we begin our journey like any other. We choose our starter, battle Nemona, feed Miraidon a sandwich, go through some spooky caves, help out Penny, and get through the first day in the academy. Now that the intro section is out of the way, we can start on the actual challenge. Since our starter Pokemon isn't a shiny dark type, we obviously need to replace it ASAP. So I decided to travel the Poco Path in the South Province to get our first party member. Now, this was a big moment. Our first Pokemon had to be something special. Should I go with a Zorora for the illusion? Or how about a Murkrow for the flying type? Or maybe even a Sandile so we could bring back Shadys? Well, they all seemed like good choices, but the one I decided to look for was a Houndour. So I headed into the caves that we just escaped from and spent the next few hours taking out my wrath on these little dogs for what they just did to me, while also looking for a shiny, of course. This is always the way it goes with these shiny videos. I plan out my strategy, build the perfect team, and then spend hours upon hours riding around a dark cave looking at thousands of little dogs. So if you want to see more of these shiny videos, I'm gonna need you to lend me your power by liking the video and subscribing, and if you do, I might just share a little bit of my own shiny luck with you as well. Oh, I can feel the energy rising already. Thank you for doing that. Okay, well, this genuinely took over 4 hours of in-game time riding around this cave. But I eventually did find what I was looking for. Look at that beautiful blue beast. Honestly, the darkness of the cave made it a little bit difficult to tell that it was even shiny, but once we get into the sunlight, oh, you guys will see how sick it looks. I named our first party member Azura, and now we could face off against Katie in the bug gym. Thanks to my genius choice in Pokemon, avoiding dark type's weakness to bugs, Azura had no problem steamrolling through Katie's party. Using Ember, I managed to one-shot both Nimble and Tarantula, and then finished off Teddiursa for an easy victory. But I know these fights aren't what you're here for, so let's get another shiny dark Pokemon already. For our next party member, I took some inspiration from our buddy Arvin and went looking for a Mastiff. But this time I thought I'd play it a little smarter. Instead of just bumbling around a dark cave, I would use the sunlight. So I headed north of Cortando to ride around, and oh my god, it's a shiny Mastiff! I'm just kidding, it wasn't that fast. I looked around for quite a bit, but we really did get incredibly lucky and found it surprisingly quickly. Our strategy eventually did fail because the sun faded into nighttime and that cool black fur almost blended into the darkness and made me miss it. But luckily, after throwing a few Pokeballs at its face, we now have our second party member. I named our new friend Ken, and next up was the grass-type gym leader, Brassius. With our fire-type Azura, I think you guys can imagine how this went for him. Petlil was up first and dead. Then Smoliv, and then... Wait, what? Sudowoodo actually took Azura down? And Ken is at 3 HP? What? Ugh, come on, Ken, use Bite, please? Okay. Whew. That was surprisingly close. I think I might need to level up my party a little. I was getting a little cocky there. And just to confirm that thought, Nemona challenges us to a battle, which doesn't go so well. Even after terastallizing, Nemona's Rockruff gets the better of Azura, and Ken had to 1v3. He does pretty well, managing to take out Rockruff and Palmy despite getting paralyzed, but taking on 3 Pokemon alone is a lot to ask. So Ken goes down too. Lucky for us though, these battles don't matter at all. Get over it, Nemona. We'll just have to get our revenge later on. But with my loss fresh in my mind, I knew I had to strengthen up my party before facing the next gym. So I spent some time fighting wild Pokemon, and our Houndour was now ready to evolve. Oh yeah, look at that guy. Ooh, shiny Houndoom is amazing. But that's not all. I also wanted to catch another Pokemon since the next gym leader, Iono, has 4 Pokemon and I currently only have 2. Hello, I've been sent from outer space to let you know about the sponsor of today's video, Dimensionals. There's a couple things that you might not know about me. Thing the first, I love turn-based RPGs. Thing the second, I love card games, specifically deck builders. And thing the third, I love roguelike games. Dimensionals is a game that combines all 3 of those things into one beautiful package. It's obviously a turn-based RPG roguelike deck builder. If you know what those terms mean, then this is a game for you. Not only does it have a super fun gameplay loop with the deck building and the roguelike and the persistent health, the punishing battles, balancing risk and reward, all kinds of different things, but it also has one of the coolest art styles that I've seen in a really long time. This game will have 20 heroes, so there's so many different combinations of heroes to choose from, and there are hundreds of different skills, relics, and abilities that you can use to build up your strength over the course of a run. It comes out on November 18th, so if you're seeing this before November 18th, go wishlist it. If not, you can use the link and go buy the full game right now on Steam. Thank you again to Dimensionals for sponsoring today's video. Now I must leave you, for I need to go back to defending space and rescuing my other fellow Dimensionals. Ta-ta! Now, I did mention this particular one earlier, but the next dark shiny in my sights was a Sandile. Sandile is a dark ground type, so I thought it would be the perfect choice against Iono's electric party, since ground is immune to electric attacks, of course. And so I traveled on over to the Asado Desert on my trusty steed, and the search began. Of course, I looked up and down the desert for hours, hoping to find literally anything, a drop of water, a sandwich, anything other than these non-shiny Pokemon. Come on. Oh, I was here for a while, but I did eventually find that shiny Golden Croc. He kind of looks like a bee with that black and yellow color scheme, and I wonder if he likes jazz. Anyway, in reference to the Sword and Shield randomizer video I made a while back, which you should definitely check out, I named this little guy Shiny Shadies, and we were now on our way to the next gym. Unfortunately, even though we now had a ground type, I really struggled against Iono. On the first attempt, we managed to take out Wattrel, Bellibolt, and Luxio, but by that point, I had already lost Azura and Shiny Shadies, and Ken just couldn't stand up against Iono's final Pokemon, Mismagius. On the second attempt, we did a little bit better and got to Mismagius with all of our Pokemon still alive, but then that stupid light bulb swept through us like it was nothing. The third attempt was basically the same, and so was the fourth and the fifth. At this point, I knew I couldn't just rely on good RNG. Something had to change. So it was time to start hunting for, yes, yet another shiny. Lucky for us, there's a spot right outside of the normal gym where we can find Bombardier during the day and Murkrow during the night. Both dark flying types, which would be helpful for gyms that aren't electric types, and also an extra body in the electric gym will be helpful too, even though, you know, we have a little bit of a weakness. It's fine. I might just be stalling right now because it took actual days to find a shiny here. I mean, in-game days, sure, but still, days. But after a few hours, we did manage to find a shiny Bombardier. I think. I mean, look at normal Bombardier here, and now look at this shiny one. There's barely any difference. One just has a gray beak. What do you mean? Well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway because she decided to use Whirlwind and ran away. Oh, hours. Hours wasted. Hours down the drain. Hey, no, I'm not crying. You're crying. I guess the hunt continues. Wait, why is this guy walking up the mountain like that? Sir? Sir? That's not okay. Okay, he's gone, thankfully. Anyway, a lot just happened in addition to me having to spend another 4 hours of my life in this area before my eyes were graced by the presence of my savior, a shiny Murkrow. And thankfully, that purple kind of magenta look is so much cooler than that stupid gray Bombardier. I'm glad it ran away. Okay? Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy I lost those hours. After throwing a couple great balls at it, I successfully caught this bird, and now we have our 4th Pokemon. I named this little guy Murky, and now it was time for the rematch with Iono. We have a much better chance now because not only do I have an extra Pokemon, but because it took so long to get Murkrow, my other Pokemon have leveled up quite a bit too. And boy, did that help. Even though she got paralyzed, Azura easily got through Wattrel and did a big chunk of damage to Bellibolt. Shiny Shadys then came in to finish it off and then buried Shinx too. Iono's last Pokemon put up a decent fight, but my boy Murky proved he is worthy of this party by finishing out the fight. That's another gym down, and the best thing about it is that Shiny Shadys was ready to evolve. And now we have a Krokorok, and his shades have been kind of turned into, what's the opposite of the shades? Suns? Shiny Sunnies. Yeah, moving on. I also spent a bit of time fighting some more wild Pokemon until Ken was ready to evolve too. Look at that mustache and her little eyebrows. What a silly girl. Anyway, but now that we powered up, it was time to face the water gym leader, Kofu. I passed the gym challenge and started out the fight with Ken since she is my tankiest Pokemon. After terastallizing, we easily blasted through Veluza, ate these weird worms, and prepared ourselves for the final Pokemon. Crabominable has a move called Crab Hammer, which at this point could easily one-shot most of my party. But that's exactly why I started with Ken. And despite the crab being super effective against us, Ken shows us just how much of a Giga Chad she is and tanks the first hit. She gets some good damage off, but unfortunately does go down to a Crab Hammer, but at this point it's too late. Murkrow sweeps in for an easy KO, and that's one more gym badge in the bag. Up next is our best bro Larry, and the fight begins with my Shiny Shadys versus his Kamala. I was a little worried about Larry using Slam, which could easily sweep through my team with this fast little bear, so I wanted to get Kamala out of the way as soon as possible. Unfortunately, we were put to sleep, but by some miracle, Kamala actually missed the first Slam, so we managed to wake up in time and finish off the Koala with a foul play. Shiny Shadys and Azura then fall to Dunsparce, but Ken once again proves how much of a beast she is and carries us through the rest of the battle. What an absolute champ. Another gym badge got, and hey Nemona. Oh, you're approaching me. Well, please don't. I'm not prepared. Yeah. I totally forgot this battle was a thing and didn't really strategize for it at all. So we do take another loss here, but as I said earlier, the battles with Nemona, they don't matter, man. They're all for pride. Who cares? We should really just get along, right? Anyway, after that battle was the moment we really power up. I'm talking leveling up, evolving, and even more party members, starting with evolving our coolest looking guy into a Krookodile. He may have lost the blue stripes, but look at those sick shades. Oh, God, I love Krookodile. He kind of looks like he belongs in a desert now, but don't worry, Krookodile, I'm never gonna run around and desert you. While out and about, I also managed to find a Duskstone, which I gave to Murky, and oh yeah, Honchkrow also looks so good. There sure are a lot of pink shiny Pokemon in this game. I wonder why. Speaking of pink shinies, I said I was gonna get another party member, and that's exactly what we're gonna do now. I knew the next two gyms weren't gonna be a problem since I have a huge type advantage, so I wanted to get something that would help against the Elite Four. Specifically, something that would be strong against dragon types. So I decided to go with Sneasel. Well, kind of. I did catch a Sneasel after many hours of looking, but I chose to immediately evolve it into a Weavile. And I am absolutely loving the Lisa Simpson hairstyle you got going on over there, Weavile. You're killing it, actually. If only your shiny was yellow, that would be hilarious. Anyway, I named her Weezer and got ready to face off against Rhyme. And yeah, as predicted, it was super easy since Rhyme is all about those ghost types and we're all about being super effective against all of them. Nemona tried to catch us off guard again, but this time, I was ready. Shiny Shadys hits with an Earthquake and boom, Lycanroc is down. Oh, hey Sliggoo, have an Earthquake! Pawmot, Earthquake. Skeledirge, you get the picture. Earthquake sweeps. And at this point, our hot streak continues because just like Rhyme, Tulip's psychic types are all super weak against my dark types. Another easy W. Next up is Grusha and her ice types, and I thought I should actually prepare for this a little. So I used a couple TMs to teach Azura some fire type moves, and this turned out to be pretty helpful. As you might guess, equipped with Flamethrower and Fire Blast, Azura melts through Frostmoth and Beartic and almost takes out Satitan too. Unfortunately, Azura is taken out by a super effective liquidation, but Weezer and Shiny Shadies are more than capable of cleaning up the rest of the fight. And that's all 8 gyms down, and now we're in the big leagues. Before heading off to fight the Elite Four, I thought it would be a good idea to get our final Pokemon and level up my party a little bit more. So after looking through a list of Dark-type Pokemon, I thought the best choice would be to go with Pawniard. If I can evolve it all the way up to a Kingambit, we'll have another strong as heck Pokemon that will also massively help against Hassel and Geeta. So I started looking around, and it took a few hours of riding around Area 2 of the Northern Province, but there he is, our final Pokemon. The dark blue actually suits the dark type so much better than the red typically does. And hey, she kinda matches Azura too. Of course I catch her and I decide to name her Sharpie, but we're not just gonna take a Pawniard into the Elite Four. So I evolved her once into a Bisharp and then again into a Kingambit, and oh my god, is this Pokemon awesome. Having a freaking samurai that is made of steel on your team? That's an amazing feeling. Oh, and the blue gi. Don't even get me started on the blue gi. Never mind. I'll be here all day. And now that we have a full party of dark type shinies, it was time to take the Elite Four down. Starting, of course, with Rika. My plan here was to use Azura's Solar Beam to sweep through Rika's whole team, but it turns out I'm a bit of a dum-dum because I completely forgot that Solar Beam needed a turn to charge up first. That's my mistake. Azura did manage to fight it out and get through Whiscash, but was left on just 1 HP against Donphan. I tried switching out to Shiny Shadies to try an Outrage sweep, but it didn't really work out. Fortunately, our new member Sharpie shows what she's got and blasts through Camerupt, Dugtrio, and Clodsire, finishing out the fight. Poppy is next in line, and this was quite a bit easier. Okay, maybe a lot easier. Azura absolutely decimated Poppy's entire team and didn't even get hit a single time. It wasn't even slightly close. The battle against Larry was pretty simple too. I didn't really have any plan for it. My team was just strong enough to power through. Ken finished out the fight with a big chomp, and that means we were ready to fight the Dragon Tamer Hassel. My plan here was to use Shiny Shadies and Outrage to burn through his entire team, since Dragon type moves are super effective against Dragon types, and that worked out well against a whole single Pokemon. We took Noivern down, but Dragalge quickly turned it around for Hassel. My next genius strategy was to use Weezer and her Ice Spinner attack, which is also super effective against Dragon types, and that also works well against one Pokemon. I mean, we actually got a bit unlucky here. Weezer only went down so fast because she got poisoned, and I can't hold that against her. But we still have plenty of powerful Pokemon left, so I sent out Azura, who finishes off Haxorus and burns through Flapple, and now the only enemy left was a Baxcalibur, and Ken once again shows what an absolute super mega ultra giga chat she is and wins the fight with an Outrage. And now the Elite Four is done, and all that's left is Geeta on a rooftop for some reason. The fight starts with Murky versus Espathra, who both actually have super effective moves to use against each other. We both clash with our strongest moves, but I have the power of shinies on my side, and Espathra doesn't stand a chance. Geeta throws out, oh, cool, regular Kingambit. Embarrassing. Anyway, I swap out to Azura and take the red samurai out with a single fire blast, and there goes Avalugg. Veluza actually puts up a bit of a fight against Azura, but Sharpie slices through the fish with ease. Looks like sushi's back on the menu tonight, am I right? At this point, we are so close, and it's looking to be in our favor. Geeta has 2 Pokemon left, and we have 4. Go-Go puts up a decent fight, but using the power of his falling comrades, Sharpie once again powers on through. And at this point, Geeta is now on to her final Pokemon, her ace, Glamora. After being hit with an Earth Power, we do unfortunately lose Sharpie, but Shiny Shadies comes in to deal massive damage, allowing Ken, the People's Champion, to finish out the fight and win us the title of the best Pokemon trainer in Paldea. That's right, by only using Dark-type Pokemon, we had become the strongest trainer in all of the land. And now, there was only one thing left to do. Get our long-awaited revenge on our rival Nemona. The stage is set, and on the battleground, it's Shiny Shadies versus Lycanroc. After terastallizing on turn 1, we take out Lycanroc with an Earthquake and then swap out to Ken against Goodra. Since Ken is a beast, she easily chomps through Goodra with an Outrage. Unfortunately, Disaster strikes and Pawmot gets the better of our champion, so Shiny Shadies comes back in to avenge her. Pawmot gets buried and then so does Dunsparce, and now it's a 5v2 with us heavily in the lead. But this is where it gets tricky. You'd never expect it to be so strong, but out of nowhere, Orthworm comes out swinging and takes out Azura, Sharpie, and Murky. What a huge blow to our team from the sweetest little worm. 3 of my Pokemon fall to this guy. But now there's only one final challenge that stands before us. Nemona's ace, Skeledirge. This is gonna be a close one. I only have Weezer left and a very weak Shiny Shadies who is sitting on just 39 HP. Time to take a gamble. The plan is to use Weezer to chip away at Skeledirge as much as possible, and then hope and pray Shiny Shadies can get the job done. I try to use Shadow Ball, but it barely even scratches this tanky Skeledirge. Nemona fires back with a Torch Song and 8 HP, that is rough. But there's not much else I can do at this point. I hit with another Shadow Ball for that extra tiny bit of damage before Weezer falls, and here we are. It's Shiny Shady's time to shine. Literally. Whoever attacks first wins. I take a deep breath, steady my hands, and focus. Shadies. Use Earthquake. Boom! Our boy strikes first and Skeledirge goes down. Nemona is out of Pokemon and we have won. And with that, we can officially say, challenge complete. We have beaten Pokemon Violet using only shiny Dark-type Pokemon. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Till next time.